The opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of this station. All claims made and opinions expressed are the sole responsibility of the program's producers.
This is a special report from the Wealth Builders Program. Markets in free fall. America's credit downgraded. Europe on the verge of collapse.
Good morning, folks. This is Doug Ray, and with me is Brian Geiser this morning. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Doug.
You know, Brian, I think we need to get right into this, given the week's events. It has been a tumultuous week, to say the least. A lot happened. A lot in the market, a lot in the news. Folks, if you're just waking up and tuning this in, Standard & Poor's downgraded the U.S. credit last night around 9:30, I think it was, from AAA to AA+. We'll talk more about that in a minute and how that might affect the markets next week and you personally in your pocketbook. But last week in the market, it was awful. And if you've been a long-time listener of this show, you know we have been warning you that this potentiality was there. We told you the last couple weeks that there was a long-term uptrend line that dates back to the March 09 low that has held support 5, maybe 6 times. It was soundly busted. I mean, I don't have any more other words for that this week.
No.
The numbers were just, I got them right here if you want to go over them, but my gosh, this week was terrible.
It's how quickly the bears take the elevator.
That's your great analogy. Brian's always said the bulls take stair steps up and the bear market takes the elevator down. And this week, this bear market elevator was in free fall. On the week, the Dow lost 5 3/4%, the S&P over 7%, the NASDAQ over 8%. Folks, we gave up all the gains for the year. We're back to December levels now. We had a head and shoulders pattern formation that was, the neckline was breached, which actually gives us lower target prices. We had yesterday what looked like maybe a capitulation for this part of the downturn. There's a big doji formation. For those of you who've attended our mini classes, you know what dojis mean. I've emphasized those quite a bit. When a doji candle appears at the bottom of a downtrend, that could potentially be a trend change. And I think we do get a rally phase, maybe as early as Monday.
Yeah, if history resembles history from 08.
Yeah. Now, the question becomes how much of a rally and where does it take us and what happens after that? Well, something else very important occurred this past week, which really I have not talked about that much, and that's Dow theory. We had a Dow theory bear market indicator. And basically what that simply means is both the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Dow Jones Transportation Average gave us a signal that we now are in a bear market stage. Dow theory changes do not happen that often. And when they do happen, you need to pay close attention to them. So where does that bring us? As I look at it, from a technical standpoint, I think we have 2 potentialities ahead of us. I think, and this one I think is the most probable, I think we have a rally phase that starts and may continue for weeks or even several months. I doubt seriously at this point, with all the technical damage that's been done, that we can make it back to the May high. I thought at one time that we could do that and potentially even get back to all-time highs. But after that rally phase is over, which could be by the end of the year or early next year, then I think the third phase of this secular bear market that's been going on for over 10 years now actually starts with a vengeance. And that takes us ultimately 3 to 4 more years to get down to the ultimate bottom of this secular bear market. Now, the second potentiality is it starts now. We have a complete collapse. That you can't rule that out. I think that's not very likely, but it can't be ruled out. We're looking at Europe. Europe is a basket case. There was rumors on the street, I think it was even yesterday, that both Greece and Italy were on the verge of sovereign debt default. I don't know if that happens this week, next week, but I think it does happen. They're so far into it, I don't think there's any way that they can do what needs to be done without a default. Italy, if it defaults, I think that's the triggering domino for the rest of Europe. When Europe goes down, it's not that far before that spreads across the world. So that is what we're looking at. Again, I don't think that is a high probability scenario. I think a rally from here takes place. Probably we'll see some Federal Reserve action next week. QE3. Yep, you heard it. QE3.
Oh, they got their strong argument now.
Well, they got an argument. That's right.
And then Bernanke last week talking about I'm out of bullets.
Well, that was a rumor too.
Oh my goodness!
They said they're out of bullets. But they're not. I mean, they can certainly do some other things. And QE, quantitative easing, has such a foul taste to it to the American people right now. I don't think they'll call it that. They'll call it something else. I mean, even it's got a foul taste to the world. Vladimir Putin last week called the U.S. a parasite on the world economy. Vladimir Putin. I mean, he's nothing but a KGB communist.
Period. End of story.
Really.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. They just, it's almost like he's trying to set up for QE3. I mean, there was a strong argument for it, but, creating an argument for it. The only thing we need to do is let the market settle where it needs to settle so that we can go back to a real economy.
Folks, if you want to make a comment or have a question for us, let me give you some phone numbers. The number is area code 336-777-1600. If you want to come in and talk to Brian or I next week, we'd love to have you in and sit down and talk about your situation. I know some of your portfolios have taken a hit this week. That number is 800-515-2919. Brian, we've been preaching for the 2 years you've been with me and for the 4 years I've been on this radio program about safe money strategies and insuring your retirements. And it's for this very reason right here. Absolutely.
It's the elevator effect. And everybody just kind of hangs in there for that last little bit. And then when the bears rears its ugly head, we see what happens. And take a look at your whole picture, your estate. I mean, people do this. Take a look and realize what part of your estate and just accept it that you cannot, part of your money rather, that you cannot afford to risk. I mean, you're listening to the Wealth Guardian Show. We'll be back in a moment.